What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Brendan Allen delivered a dominant performance at UFC Vancouver, stopping RDR in a brutal fashion that left the MMA world buzzing. The fight started strong for RDR, who controlled much of the opening round with his grappling and top pressure. However, everything changed in round 2 when RDR made a costly mistake trying to secure a second hook on the ground. That single error opened the door for Allen to reverse position and completely take over the fight. From that moment on, it was all Allen. The American middleweight showed incredible composure, controlling the pace, landing heavy shots and slowly wearing RDR down. By the end of the 4th round, RDR looked completely exhausted, barely able to make it back to his corner. When the 5th round was set to begin, RDR's team made the difficult call to stop the fight, unable to watch their fighter continue in that condition. Referee Jason Herzog confirmed to the broadcast that RDR's corner had thrown in the towel between rounds, giving Allen the TKO victory and his second straight win inside the octagon. The MMA community quickly reacted to the shocking finish, with many pros chiming in online. Middleweight champion Khamzat was one of the first to comment, posting a short but sharp reaction, writing, "This bullshit guy give up," while laughing at the outcome. Paulo Costa also joined in, taking playful shots at RDR, calling him overrated and mocking his attempt to transition from one championship success to UFC competition. Fans and fighters alike pointed out how quickly the momentum had shifted, praising Allen's ability to stay calm and capitalize on RDR's mistake. Allen's victory not only halted RDR's hype but also reminded everyone that the level of competition inside the UFC is on a different level. Many analysts noted how Allen's well-rounded skill set, particularly his ground control and endurance, made the difference. Even though RDR had moments of brilliance early, he couldn't keep up once the tide turned. For RDR, it's a tough loss that exposes gaps in his cardio and defensive grappling against high-level opposition. For Allen, this win solidifies his position among the division's top contenders, showing that he's ready to face anyone next. Meanwhile, Khamzat's and Costa's reactions only added fuel to the fire, keeping RDR's name trending for all the wrong reasons. What was meant to be a statement fight for the former two-division champion turned into a showcase for Brendan Allen's dominance and composure inside the cage. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news. Jiri Prochazka, who just turned 33 this week, has put himself back into the light heavyweight title conversation after a stunning knockout win over Khalil Rountree Jr. less than 2 weeks ago at UFC 320. Following his victory, Prochazka went into the crowd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas to witness Alex Pereira dethrone Magomed Ankalaev and retain control of the division. Pereira, already a two-division UFC champion at middleweight and light heavyweight, broke his foot before demolishing Ankalaev in just 80 seconds in the main event. For Prochazka, the moment was emotional. Having lost to Pereira twice before, he admitted the Brazilian's win immediately made him realize a trilogy fight could be on the horizon. However, Pereira surprised everyone by calling for a heavyweight showdown against Jon Jones at the UFC's upcoming White House card in 2026. Instead of mentioning Prochazka or fellow contender Carlos Ulberg speaking after the event, Prochazka said he's not chasing any specific name, but made it clear that he only wants to fight for the undisputed title next. "I want to fight for the belt next," he said. "It doesn't matter if it's Pereira, Ulberg, or Ankalaev, I really don't care. I just want the championship fight." Prochazka also made it clear that if Pereira decides to move up to heavyweight, he should vacate the title so the rest of the division can move forward. "If he chooses to stay, then fight me," Prochazka added. "If he wants to go to heavyweight, release the title, that's all." Prochazka revealed he needs a bit of time to recover before stepping back into the octagon, but he's determined to return stronger. "I need a little break, maybe until the end of the year, just to recover myself and upgrade my style," he said. "But the next fight, I want the title." The Czech warrior also expressed his desire to compete on the historic White House card alongside Pereira, Jones, and Conor. "Every time I give my best in every fight," he said. "That's a really special card, and I believe I deserve a place there to show the world that my fights bring something special." The White House event will reportedly take place outdoors on the South Lawn, marking one of the most iconic moments in UFC history. Moving on to another news, Anthony Hernandez has finally responded to Sean Strickland's recent call-out. After being forced to withdraw from his UFC Vancouver main event against RDR due to injury, Hernandez is eager to get back inside the octagon. Riding an impressive 8-fight winning streak, many believed a dominant win over RDR could have earned him a title shot. However, things took an interesting turn when Strickland publicly called him out, throwing some playful jabs at Hernandez's wrestling-heavy approach and even labeling him the American Khamzat. During a recent episode of the Weigh-In podcast, Hernandez addressed the call out. He laughed off Strickland's comments, saying, "Sean's funny, he's wild, he's always saying crazy stuff. That's just who he is as a person. But I get it. If he wants to fight me, then run it. I don't give a damn." Hernandez made it clear that while he's open to fighting Strickland, his eyes are also set on Duplessis. "I'd like to fight DDP because that would get me to the belt guaranteed," he said. "Either way, I think both fights get me to the belt, so I really don't care. At the end of the day, whoever the matchmakers call me for, I'm going to sign the waiver and run it. Both fights would be fun, both would be bloody, and we'd make a lot of money for them. Hernandez also shared why he slightly leans toward facing Duplessis over Strickland. I'd like to fight DDP because he did a lot of good as a champion. He beat a lot of big-name guys, so if you beat him, it would be like defeating a proven champion. His reasoning makes sense, especially given Duplessis' current position in the middleweight division. DDP is ranked number 1, has only one loss since 2018, and holds 2 victories over Strickland. A win against him at this stage could carry more weight than a fight with Sean. Of course, some fans believe Hernandez's preference for DDP might have something to do with avoiding Khamzat's wrestling-heavy style, as many remember Duplessis struggling against similar pressure in the past. But regardless of that, Hernandez's confidence remains high. He's focused, determined, and believes either matchup, whether it's against the unpredictable and outspoken Strickland or the disciplined and dangerous Duplessis, could bring him closer to championship gold. What's clear is that Hernandez has cemented himself as one of the most promising contenders in the division. His mix of toughness, relentless pressure, and improving fight IQ has made him a serious threat to anyone standing across from him. With his injury recovery now underway, fans are eagerly waiting to see which path he'll take next. Whether it's a bloody war with Sean Strickland or a high-stakes showdown with Duplessis, Anthony Hernandez is ready to run it back inside the octagon, no matter who the UFC matchmakers put in front of him. Moving on to another news, Kevin Holland is set to make his return this weekend at UFC Vancouver, where he'll face Mike Malott in what will be his 5th fight of the year. But for Holland, 5 fights just aren't enough. The always active welterweight says he plans to compete one more time before the year ends, aiming to make it 6 fights in a single year. That kind of schedule is rare in modern MMA, but Holland has built his reputation on being one of the most active and entertaining fighters in the sport. Speaking ahead of the event, Holland shared that he feels like his career is just getting started and that there's still a lot left for him to accomplish, both in MMA and beyond. He hinted that he eventually plans to transition into boxing once his UFC journey slows down. I don't think MMA is going to be forever, Holland said, but I don't think combat sports are done just yet. I'm very excited to see the UFC getting into boxing, and I plan to be part of that in the future. Holland also talked about how he wants to finish the year strong, have a smoother schedule next year, and then go big in 2028. I'm gonna finish this year strong, have a smooth year next year, and then a heavy year in 28, he said with a smile. What I've done in my career ain't nothing. I'm just getting started. Reflecting on his recent run, Holland mentioned that he believes he should be 3-1 this year heading into the fight with Malott. Somehow, someway, Dro scratched his bald head and got lucky, he joked, referring to a previous loss that still doesn't sit well with him. Holland added that he's eager to bounce back and feels confident about getting his hand raised in Vancouver. He even teased the possibility of one more fight in December, saying, maybe, just maybe, between him and Magny, one of them will put their big boy pants on, and I'll get that scrap in December. Then I'll be a 6-man year. Always ambitious and full of personality, Kevin Holland continues to prove he's one of the most entertaining figures in MMA, both inside and outside the cage. Moving on to another news, Khabib shared a heartfelt message for his longtime friend and student Islam ahead of UFC 322, where Islam is set to make his welterweight debut against champion JDM. The bout will take place on November 16, 2025, at the iconic Madison Square Garden, marking one of the biggest fights of the year. For Islam, this fight represents more than just another title opportunity. It's a chance to make history and become the first fighter from Khabib's team to hold UFC titles in 2 different divisions, something even Khabib himself never achieved during his legendary career. Both Khabib and Islam began their MMA journey together in Dagestan, training under the guidance of Khabib's late father, Abdulmanap. Under his leadership, they developed a unique bond built on discipline, respect, and relentless hard work. After Abdulmanap's passing in 2020, Khabib retired from active competition and took on the role of mentor, guiding Islam to greatness. With Khabib in his corner, Islam captured the lightweight championship and rose to become the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC, continuing the legacy of Dagestan's dominance in the sport. Now, as Islam prepares to move up to welterweight, Khabib once again stands beside him, offering words of support and brotherhood. In a touching Instagram post, Khabib wrote, "Our entire journey has been side by side in the gym, always helping each other improve. Soon we will follow the path toward a second belt, and the hard work continues. 33 days until the historic fight in Madison Square Garden. See you all in New York. Islam Makhachev is ready." The post immediately went viral, with fans and fighters around the world applauding the deep connection between the two champions. Islam's move to welterweight came after he vacated his lightweight title in May, signaling a new chapter in his career. The decision followed Bilal Muhammad's loss of the welterweight belt to JDM at UFC 315, which opened the door for Islam to step up and challenge for gold in a new weight class. Many believe this fight could cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time, capable of conquering 2 divisions, just like legends before him. With Khabib's guidance and years of shared experience behind him, him, Islam now stands on the brink of history, ready to chase greatness once again inside the octagon. Moving on to another news, the MMA community is once again roasting Jon Jones after a bizarre clip of him fighting with Hasbullah surfaced online. The video, which quickly went viral, shows Jon sitting on a couch as Hasbullah covers his face with a pillow while laughing and pretending to choke him out. At first, it all seemed like harmless fun, just a light-hearted interaction between the two. But fans were quick to notice something strange after Jon's face was covered, and that's when the roasting began. In the footage, Jon appears to get a little too into the playful exchange, with fans claiming he looked a bit too excited. As the clip made rounds on social media, the comment sections exploded with jokes and memes targeting the UFC heavyweight champion. Fans accused Jon of getting bricked up during the moment, and the internet wasted no time clowning him for it. One user wrote, "The noises he was making were disgusting." Another added, "Why they got this dude Jon Jones bricked up like this?" Some fans even brought up Jon's past controversies, with one person saying, "This is the same guy who told Joe Rogan he failed a test because he had 2 pills. Now he's out here doing this?" Others joked about Hasbullah's quick reaction, saying, "I've never seen Hasbullah move so fast in my life." That brother was scared. The comments kept coming, with fans calling the clip one of the top 10 most ridiculous videos ever, and claiming that it gets worse every time Jon's in the headlines. A few users took the humor even further, writing things like, "Jon looked way too excited when Hasbullah put that pillow on his face," and "Bro looks like he likes it when men put things on his face." Others joked that Jon found a loophole, saying, "Hasbullah's actually 23, so Jon figured it out." The online reaction quickly spiraled into chaos, with some fans dubbing him mythical fighter bricked up Jon Jones. Despite the backlash, Jon hasn't commented on the clip, and it's unclear whether he even takes the criticism seriously. For years, Jon has been no stranger to internet jokes and viral moments, but this one definitely caught fans off guard. The MMA community, always quick to turn controversy into comedy, continues to flood timelines with memes, reactions, and relentless teasing. Whether it was just an awkward camera angle or an unfortunate moment caught on tape, the internet has already made up its mind, and Jon Jones is once again the main character in another wild MMA moment. Moving on to another news, Anshul Jubli has finally broken his silence after facing major backlash over his comments about Khabib. Earlier this year, Jubli found himself at the center of controversy when a clip went viral, where he seemingly claimed he could submit Khabib in a fight. The statement spread like wildfire, drawing criticism from fans around the world, and even catching the attention of Khabib's longtime coach, Javier Mendez. At the time, the report suggested that Jubli had said there was no difference between him and Khabib, claiming he had a world champion mindset and unbreakable mental strength. In the viral clip, Jubli appeared confident, saying, "Maybe I have to survive the first round, then I can get a knockout in the second round. I can submit Khabib." These comments came shortly before his loss to Quillan Salkill, which only fueled the backlash even further. When Javier Mendez was asked about Jubli's comments, he didn't hold back. "Anil's a good kid," Mendez said, "but I don't know why he's saying ridiculous things like that. Maybe he's just trying to get attention. He's in no position to talk like that. Brother, become a champion, or at least a #1 contender if you want to talk that kind of talk. What's his record in the UFC? 1-2 or maybe 2-2? The comments from Mendez echoed the sentiment of many fans who felt Jubli had spoken too boldly too soon. Fast forward to today, and Jubli has finally fired back, claiming his words were completely taken out of context. In a recent social media post, the Indian lightweight addressed the situation, saying, "As you've seen, they took small clips from my long interview and made it look like I was disrespecting Khabib. First of all, I don't give a damn what people think of me. I don't waste energy on opinions, especially from brainless, brainwashed haters. I'm doing all the right things and I'm coming back stronger than ever." Jubli continued by saying, "Those who have a hateful mindset took a part of the video where I was talking good about Khabib and twisted it to make it look like I was insulting him. That's beyond my understanding. People who know me know very well how much I look up to Khabib. I've taken a lot from him and added it into my own game, but those filled with hate will never understand that." He clarified that the line about submitting Khabib was meant as a joke, saying, "It was said with a sense of humor. You'll understand if you see the full interview." Jubli's response shows that he's frustrated with how quickly things were taken out of proportion. The young fighter, who started his career with an undefeated 6-fight streak, has since gone 1-2 in the octagon. Despite the recent criticism, he appears focused on rebuilding his reputation and silencing doubters through his performances rather than social media debates. Whether fans accept his explanation or not, Anil Jubli seems determined to prove that he's more than just a headline. He's a fighter still on the rise and ready to make his mark. Moving on to another news, Dana White has once again made headlines after going off on boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, calling him a lunatic. The UFC president didn't hold back his thoughts during a recent episode of the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast, where he addressed Hearn's recent comments about him and his boxing ventures. This all started when Eddie Hearn criticized Dana for the boxing matches he's promoted, including the massive crossover event featuring Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Hearn had thrown some sharp remarks, questioning Dana's involvement in boxing and downplaying his promotional efforts. Well, it looks like Dana has officially had enough of Hearn's jabs and decided to fire back in classic Dana White fashion. During the podcast, Dana said, "It's fascinating. Eddie Hearn all of a sudden is acting like a lunatic.
You know what he sounds like to me?
He sounds like he's reading a WWE script." He went on to say that he's known Eddie for a while, and this kind of behavior isn't really who he is. "This isn't Eddie's personality," Dana continued, "but when you hear somebody like him talk now, it reminds me of a career politician. He's running for election, talking about all the things he's going to do, saying we're going to change this and we're going to fix that. Where were you the last 20 years? You didn't do any of it." Dana didn't stop there. He mocked Hearn's sudden ambition to change boxing, pointing out that people like him never had that kind of vision before. "All of a sudden now Eddie's going to fix boxing, compete with me and do all this other stuff," Dana said with a laugh. "I don't even think about those guys, what they're doing, or how they're doing it." He then referenced a recent claim from Hearn, saying, "Eddie Hearn's like, he didn't come up with this fight. He didn't create Canelo." Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. Where have you ever seen me saying I came up with Canelo Crawford or that it was my idea? Dana accused Hearn of exaggerating and acting out a scripted feud. "Somebody's writing him a WWE script and he just sounds ridiculous," Dana added. "You're not going to do jack." Dana's fiery response reminded everyone why he's one of the most outspoken figures in combat sports. Whether it's defending his promotion or taking shots at boxing critics, he never holds back. His comments clearly show that he doesn't take Eddie Hearn's claims seriously and isn't losing sleep over the boxing promoter's ambitions. For Dana, it's business as usual, and he's made it very clear that no one, not even a top boxing promoter, is gonna rattle him or slow down what he's built. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.